Tomorrow, 43. 22 tomorrow night, overcast. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 31.
CBS Sports Radio, 1270 AM, WAIN, and W270DI, Columbia, Kentucky.
You're listening to 93.5 Hot Country, Columbia, Kentucky, home of Lindsey Wilson Athletics that captured the 2015-16 Learfield Directors Cup.
2-1 pitch, swung on, hit deep into left field. That ball is deep. That ball is out of here. A grand slam, game-winning home run from Dawson Kahn, and the Indians come from 5 down in the bottom of the 7th inning, and they get a walk-off grand slam from Dawson Kahn, and that was going to do it for this one.
Back to JNS Sports Talk Live and Local, Chris Wells.
John Shelley. Was that you introducing me?
Well, yeah, I was introducing. You had something you wanted to share. You got the sage grouse and the prairie chickens. I mean, seriously, it's thriving. It's a thriving state for upland birds. And a few pheasants, not as many as
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You're not over thunder chicken hunter or prairie chicken, whatever you call it?
What you're talking about.
Have you ever watched Gunsmoke?
Now water starts to fly everywhere on that Lindsey Wilson sideline. Blue Raiders are going to win this one, and boy, they're excited, and good for them. There's the bath that Coach Oliver's going to get, and joy in Columbia. Wow. Lindsey Wilson is bringing Big Red home, and they are celebrating on the field as they should. The Blue Raiders, the NAI National Champions in 2021.
Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the JNS Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local. We come to you each Wednesday night as John Shelley, Scott Bennett joins me, along with Austin Armstrong, our producers, our sponsors. Our UCB, United Citizens Bank, TJ Regional Health, Lindsey Wilson College, and as always, our title sponsor is JNS Auto Sales. You can hear us right here on 101.9 WAIN. Make sure you download the app if you haven't got it. Just go to the App Store or Google Play and search WAIN Radio, and you can listen not only to that. I was actually listening to the game last night, Adair County and Taylor County game last night on the app. It's fantastic. Make sure you do that. You can also follow us on our Facebook channel and YouTube. It's brand new. Again, alongside John Shelley and Scott Bennett, I'm Chris Wells. And guys, we always start our first segment with Adair County. Unfortunately, at least one great game last night. Unfortunately, neither game came out in Adair County's favor. But you guys sounded awesome on the call, and disappointing 9-0 for Adair County, but still lots to play for the rest of the season.
Yeah, dropped the doubleheader at Taylor County last night, and the girls' game started off very competitively. We were actually had a 5-point lead, I think it was, in the first quarter, and Taylor County really spread it out in the second half. Really spread the margin out in the second half. Ended up winning by 37 points, 77-40. But just seemed like a lot better effort from the Lady Indians last few games. They picked up a district win at Marion County last Friday, and just John, I think I'm not saying they didn't have effort before, but it seems like their effort's paying off a little more here the last few games.
Oh yeah, it was definitely not a 37-point ball game. Just the skill level of Taylor County, they separate themselves. Just being able to knock down shots. They shot a high percentage. Bale, the left-handed the guard, she knocks down shots. I think at one point Taylor County was 18 for 20 from the foul line. They get to the foul line, it's pretty much automatic. They got good solid play off their bench, and Scott, I thought offensively Adair County to put up 40 against Taylor was a decent night. It really started off like we were going to put up more than that, but like Scott said, Friday night, what a great moment for the 7th grader as she gets fouled basically and makes 2 free throws.
Addie Bowman.
With basically at the end of the ball game, end of regulation, Addie Bowman, and had to be a great thrill for her. Adair County comes out on top 57-55, and then last night. Scott, that pretty much puts, I think, Adair versus Campbellsville, right? Girls too.
It's
Girls
set. Yeah, it's set. As far as who's playing who, the only thing really up in the air, in boys or girls, either one, is home team versus visiting team. Which, I mean, wear your white jersey or your dark jersey is all it really all that matters now. Taylor County's won the girls and the boys district. Marion County's fourth in both, and those two cannot change the way I understand it. So. I did look up to see what did you see what Marion and Campbellsville done in girls yesterday?
I did not see that score.
But I think that's pretty much set. If I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken on the girls. The boys is set. But going back to the boys game last night, dropped 168-61. Another really good effort. The Indians just couldn't get over the hump in the second half. They built an 8-point lead early in the third quarter, and Taylor County went on something like a 13-0 run, something like that. And I didn't think we really had that many turnovers, didn't really force many shots. We just couldn't make one. And they were able to make several in a row and had a couple of really big three-pointers from the Gribbins kid, which is, I mean, he averages 4.8 points a game going in, and he had 3 three-pointers in the game. So doubled his average last night, and that was, to me, honestly, is the difference in the ball game. I thought we'd done a really good job on Clemens, who really hurt us the first game. Jackson Wise had a great game last night. Best I've ever seen him play. Done a really good job of shooting the ball, and it made him so much more dangerous. He's always been a good passer, and it made him that much more dangerous when he was hitting his shots, I thought.
Chris, we were sitting down eye level last night. When we were at Taylor, we were elevated. And it just struck me the length and athleticism of Taylor County. They've got a bunch of wiry, strong-looking kids. They don't have any big-body kids other than Close that comes off the bench, but they got some guys that are long
and he didn't
lanky.
get to play long last night. He fouled out or got 4 or 5 fouls in about 2 minutes of game time.
They're long and lanky, and Montreal's really got them playing defense, Scott. I think you would agree. They do a good job with their rotations, and that's one of the only time I can remember all year when Adair County got sped up late. And I think, Scott, trying to remember back to that run when we were up 39-31, there was a couple turnovers, but it was quick shots that Taylor County's defense forced us into. And it's like Scott said, they weren't bad shots. They were just quick shots. And Adair had controlled the tempo. First time I'd seen a press really bother us a little bit last night, and give Taylor County credit. I thought Adair County played excellent, even though they were 2 for 14 from 3. Yeah. And I think, Scott, 1 for 14 at Marion. So that's combined 3 for 28 in their last 2 games. So that's a little bit of a concern why we're not making threes, because we have to make threes. Chris, we talked about it on the show because of our team chemistry. We're so small, and I think to beat Taylor County in a district final, or to beat a team like Taylor in the region, Adair's going to have to hit 40% of their threes, or maybe even 50% of their threes, and they had some good looks last night, just couldn't get them to go.
Guys, we play Campbellsville on Friday night over there at Campbellsville. With the seeding already set, obviously this game is not important from a standpoint of seeding, but is it important for the mentality of really either Adair County team?
I'll let you go first.
I really think, especially the boys. The girls have already defeated Campbellsville this year, and they honestly should again. Campbellsville's playing a little bit better, but the girls are. But for the boys, I think it's really a mentality game. I mean, like you said, you'd hate to win this one and then lose in the district tournament. But I really think the boys need to see themselves beating them. I mean, that's just they've not done it. Campbellsville's won 3 of the last 4 of the last 5, something like that. And it's just, we have a hard time playing the way that Campbellsville plays, and it's a whole lot easier to control the pace when you're the slow down team. I mean, as long as you can take care of the ball, and they do a good job on that.
I'm going to pose a question, Chris, to you and to Scott. Do you show your trump card if if man-to-man is your standard defense, do you do what you've done all year and play your man, or do you throw a wrinkle in there to say, hey, I want to look at something to see if this might work against this opponent? Throw some curveballs. What's your all's thought, or do you just do what you do at this point? Because I think it's very tricky. If I got a couple sets that I'm relying on, like the diagonal screen, for example, that Ole Miss kept pinning Oscar Sheboy on last night. We used to run that play. We used to call it triangle. It's just a diagonal screen from the block to the elbow, and then you're screening across the screen. It's a screen-to-screener play. And do you show little quick hitters like that, or do you just very vanilla run your motion offense play? I think it's really tricky. I'll be honest.
I personally, I think it's a combination of it. I think you may work on a few things, a few possessions, but don't prolongly stay in it. That's my opinion on it. I think you got to see. To me, it helps in game situations, see if something's going to work or not. And that's
two things I think of. If you throw out a new wrinkle in the game, it gives it's going to force the other coach to have to prepare, but they're going to have to prepare for more. So I've always thought if a coach is preparing for 3 or 4 things against my team, then that's a good thing as far as I'm concerned. I'm not a real big fan of just throwing out something that I haven't used all season long against the team, because if it doesn't work, then man, you've really put yourself behind the 8 ball. And the other thing that I would say is I think winning breeds winning. I think it's important to win every game that you can win, because I think it just gives you that much more confidence. Especially, John, you just brought up the point where Adair County has struggled outside shooting the basketball the last couple of games. I want my guys. I don't want my guys going into district play thinking, any bad thoughts. So if I can win this game against Campbellsville and lock up the 2 seed or whatever, it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't matter if you're the 2 or 3. But if I can win this game, then it gives me the confidence to know, you know what, we can't beat this team playing any style, and I'm going to go into that district semifinal game with that much more confidence. So I don't think you hide anything. I think Scott hit the nail on the head. I think you probably mix it up and just don't show it whatever you're planning on doing for district, if that's even in the coach's mind right now. I think you probably introduce it, but just to see if it works, because again, it's one thing if every coach knew that, man, this is going to work against this team, they'd be coaching at the highest level. You just never know what's going to work against a team until you are put in that situation. So I think it's something that coaches have to think about. I remember when baseball season was going on, and I think last year, and I think Campbellsville didn't throw one of their good pitchers against us or against Mary or somebody. I don't remember. I think baseball is completely different in my mind than basketball. And so if you have something that you want to introduce just to see if it has some success, make the other team try to prepare that much more for it, I think it's a good thing. I think you just want to win the basketball game.
A couple updates, and these are unofficial updates. Calvin, the real good perimeter player for Campbellsville, he's averaging double figures. He is he's a really smart player. He's a really physical player. He's probably the best standstill shooter. Any of them can make shots, but I would say if I had to pick one, he would be the guy. He is out. What I'm hearing, that he tried to come back after an injury. He'd been out a few games, and re-injured it. So I heard he's out 6 to 8 weeks, guys.
That's what I've heard. I heard the exact same thing. But we're 4 weeks from the district tournament, really, from tonight. If he's gonna be able to come back, he'll try to come back, I think. But like I said, I don't expect him to play Friday night, and that kind of throws a wrinkle in you want to try stuff, because he's the young man that we run the box and chaser on last year, and it kind of threw his game off because I don't think he was used to seeing that. And we held him something like 2 points, 4 points, something like that. And
Coach Breeze commented course, Scott has to give his headset up for me to do the post-game interview with Coach Breeze, but he mentioned that he's frustrated with Campbellsville's guards because he said we've tried to press them. They don't turn it over. He said they're really good with the ball. They know what they want to do, which is to keep the game in the 30s. They got a couple guys down there on the block that are physical. They rebound it good. So Coach Breeze, I know, respects their team and their guards, and he just made the comment last night. We've really got to make shots against them. We got to get the game. We got to get the game in the 50s because he said they're going to give us shots. They're going to take away some things, but they're also going to give you looks. And
there's really, it's what baffles me is you look. I know you can't compare scores, and I say it every time, you can't compare scores. But when you look at the common opponents, about all our common opponents have beaten them. I mean, they're 8-13 on the season. Not like they're juggernauts, but for some reason we don't play well against them, and haven't played well against them in the last 2 years. And like I said, I'm sure Coach Breeze. One thing about Campbellsville's games is they have that NFHS video where all their games are online, and I'm sure Coach Breeze is going to be pouring into them to see what some other teams had some success against them with, just to get some new ideas. And Coach Breeze, he has a set offense and defense thing, but he's not afraid to change something. I've seen it before. I've seen it late in the season before. That he's not afraid to make an adjustment or make something, do something totally different and try it out. So I'm sure they'll be looking at that.
And on the girls front, just to end with, that first game is big in the district. To get to the region would be a great goal for them. Not to say you got to play the game, but Taylor's going to be the prohibited big favorite in that district final. But getting to a region and then would be big for some of these girls that's never played in a regional tournament.
And I want to correct myself. I thought Campbellsville and Marion played last night, but actually that game was postponed until tonight. So I don't know who I was looking at that I thought that Campbellsville had won both games of the doubleheader. I just completely goofed on it. I was looking at the wrong game apparently. So Campbellsville or Marion County at Campbellsville starts. Actually, the girls' game just started at 5 o'clock. So
Chris, let me ask you an off-the-wall question. Did Scott and I get a better rating last night from you, an endorsement versus Tony Romo's call Sunday? I mean, I don't know.
Absolutely, 100%.
Tony went from a hero to a goat and one Sunday, and I guess that's the life of a broadcaster. But
that's exactly right. Let me ask you this: you play Campbellsville on Friday night, and then after that, you're done with district until the tournament. What do you do as far as your non-district games the rest of the way? Is everything geared towards that tournament, I assume, or is you don't want your team focused on that for 3 full weeks? What's your thought process? What do you tell your guys and gals going into the last stretch of the season before the district tournament?
Chris, I think that's a really, really good question. And on the boys' front, you're going to be in a possession-oriented game with Campbellsville. I mean, they've handled our press. They're going to handle it. They're going to break it, and they're going to set and run their offense. Last time they got to tip and ran what, Scott?
2.5 minutes before they shot the ball.
2.5 minutes before they shot the ball. I mean, that's how the game started. I think you play more that way because Coach Breeze. He likes to run the ball, and if he thinks he's got the advantage, he's going to run it. But I think those last few games, I would gear toward not necessarily trying to keep the game in the 30s. I'm not saying that, but run your sets, be really patient, turn it over, get the good shot, block it. I mean, every possession in that game is huge. It's kind of like a college football game when you're playing an Army or a Navy. I mean, you're only going to get it a few times. And you've got to take advantage when you get it. And I think that's a really good question. That's how I would play it.
I'm going to take a little different angle at it. I think the boys and girls both It's not really a way you play kind of answer for me. It's something, they have something to play for over these last 2 weeks. The boys are 17-6. They got 20 wins staring them right in the face. That should be goal number one in the next few weeks to get to 20 wins. The girls are 7-14. They've got 10 wins staring them right in the face. Set that as a goal to get 10 wins for the postseason. Now that's to the boys, that would be a couple more games they won last year. The girls, it would double. If they get to 10, it would double their wins from last year. So it's to me, that's what I'm looking at. Is I'm not putting so much pressure on that first game of the district yet. Now that last week, that last weekend before it, it's all eyes towards it. But they both got a few games here that are winnable in my opinion, and both teams have the chance to get to double digit. Or the girls to double digit wins, the boys to 20 wins.
Guys, talk about the atmosphere on Tuesday night. I know you had the chili supper. You had an introduction of the coach. I know it was a good crowd despite the weather. Talk a little bit about the energy in the building.
It was the best crowd we've had all year. They did end up postponing the chili supper till the Russell County game, which ought to be another really big crowd. I think they were afraid that they wasn't sure exactly what would happen with the crowd with it starting so early. And the football boosters made a decision to just hold off on the chili part. I wish they would have done it.
Did they not know that John would eat anything that's left over if they cook too much?
Chris, speaking of eating, I know we get off sometimes, and I'll be very brief, but I had a meal today where I had a side salad and 6 wings. I thought, well, the side salad's not enough. I'll get 6 wings. And then one of the people I were eating with got a little like a rotini, a little like pasta, and it looked really good, but it was like a serving like a child would eat. And I thought, well, give me that too. I want that. So I had a side salad, $27. I ate $27 worth today, Chris. My wife can't believe it. I mean, I get $40 for the week, and I've spent 3/4 of it today.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, Friday night, it's at Campbellsville. Want to go ahead and jump forward to one more game. The girls play Edmonson County on Saturday at home, and then the boys Tuesday night at Clinton County. Obviously, you guys will be doing the games on Friday night, correct?
Yes, and those games actually will also be on the YouTube channel if you're not able to make it over. We're on getting an away game on there. Don't know yet. I hadn't talked to Austin enough to know, or my wife enough to know whether it'll be our call on the YouTube page, or if it will be the Campbellsville folks' call. Austin's pointed at us, so it's gonna be our call. Since it's a road game, I don't know which way. They're trying to, of course. WAN and Q104 are sister stations. They're under the same ownership, and they're looking at Campbellsville's Sports is looking to try to possibly start doing like what we're doing over here with the video and the audio and all that kind of stuff. And they invited WAN's crew to come over Friday night, even though it's a road game, and do that. So looking forward to that. And it's always like calling over there, John, because we got that little booth right up there at the top. It's kind of private to herself, but you're still kind of there in the action too.
Yeah, I'm starting to get nervous. I mean, because we'll have more listeners if we're expanding here a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I got to watch what I say, because I'm
starting to get butterflies a little bit.
I'm a homer, big time homer. I got to watch what I say.
You're not a homer, Scott.
I do know this. I've had 2 different referees tell me this year that they've gone back and they appreciated what I said about them. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I love it. All right, we're going to step away for a moment. Again, at Dare County on Friday night at Campbellsville. What's the start times of those games, Scott?
5:30 Central for the girls, boys to follow.
All right, good deal. Let's step away for a minute. We'll be back to talk a little Lindsey Wilson athletics. This is the J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local.
Let J&S Auto Sales show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Columbia. They believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Shop their virtual showroom of used cars, trucks, and SUVs online at jnsautosales.ky.org. J&S Auto Sales, here to help you find that perfect car you deserve, priced to fit your budget.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. I help people solve difficult and trying personal problems every day on my TV show, but there's one problem that's just got me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. That's 1 in 5 kids who may not know where their next meal is coming from, despite the fact that there's more than enough healthy, nutritious food out there to feed them all. Now, I don't know about you, but that is unacceptable to me. Luckily, the Feeding America network of good people is out there collecting surplus food and giving hope to hungry children and their families at local food banks all across the country. But let's face it, they can't do it without your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Let J&S Auto Sales show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Columbia. They believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Shop their virtual showroom of used cars, trucks, and SUVs online at jnsautosales.ky.org. J&S Auto Sales, here to help you find that perfect car you deserve, priced to fit your budget.
Have you injured yourself playing a sport or exercising? Sports medicine experts at TJ Regional Health are trained to get you back on the road to recovery, whether you're dealing with sprains, fractures, knee and shoulder injuries, or other common injuries. Our goal is to prevent illness and injury in active individuals of all ages and help prevent future problems to maximize your performance. Find out more at tjregionalhealth.org/rehab. Patients first, team always. TJ Rehabilitation Services.
Hi, this is Kylie McCovens. I'm a Greene County High School graduate and a Lindsey Wilson College student. I'm well on my way to earning my degree in Human Services and Counseling. At LWC, I've met new people, had the opportunity to become involved on campus, and I've loved being a part of campus ministry. Visit today and you will want to make Lindsey Wilson College your new home too. Call the admissions office at 270-384-8100 or email us at admissions@lindsey.edu.
This is Matt Loy with United Citizens Bank. Although I'm very proud of all the products and services we offer, the best thing we have to offer is good, old-fashioned customer service. It may seem like banking is moving to smartphones and computers, and while we can do that too, we don't think anything can replace a firm handshake and your confidence in our word. When you think personal service and customer-first banking, think UCB. United Citizens Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
CBS Sports Radio, 101.9 FM, 1270 AM, WAIN. Online, 1019WAIN.com. It's a Fork Broadcasting station. Thanks for listening. All sports, all the time on CBS Sports Radio, the exclusive home of Lindsey Wilson College Athletics. Go Blue Raiders. Adair County baseball and softball. Roll Tribe. The Leach Report with the voice of the Wildcats, Tom Leach. Kentucky Sports Radio with Matt Jones. The Cincinnati Reds, Tennessee Titans, and Nashville Predators. CBS Sports Radio, 101.9 FM and 1270 AM, WAIN. Plus our all-star CBS lineup. Enter the jungle with the Jim Rome Show. After Hours with Amy Lawrence and more. It's how sports know-it-alls know it all. CBS Sports Radio, 101.9 FM and 1270 AM, WAIN. Online at 1019WAIN.com. A Fork Broadcasting station.
Sports Talk Live and Local. Our sponsors are TJ Regional Health, United Citizens Bank, Lindsey Wilson College, our title sponsor, J&S Auto Sales. Talking about Lindsey Wilson Athletics. Busy on the hill right now with crossover season going on. The second crossover season of the year. Swimming is actually on the road this weekend. They go down to Kingsport, Tennessee to swim in the Mid-South Conference Championships. That begins tomorrow and runs through Saturday night. So best of luck to our Blue Raiders swimmers. That's with guys with like swimming and track and field, wrestling, you don't really make it to the national tournament as a team. You have to actually have times and things of that nature to actually qualify for the event. So we already have a bunch of our kids who have qualified for nationals, so we know that's going on. But it would be kind of cool to go down and it's always a fast pool down in Kingsport anyway, so you're going to see some really good times. You can that championships will be streamed live on the Mid-South Conference website, so you can log on and watch that. And we'll have all the results on the Lindsey Wilson website as well. The Lindsey Wilson wrestling team is on the road Friday night. They go down to Lebanon, Tennessee, and boy, it's going to be a huge night. Blue Raiders take on Thomas More in a neutral site match, and then they take on Cumberland University. And Lindsey and Cumberland are the only two teams in the conference that are still undefeated in dual action. So basically, they'll be wrestling as long as Lindsey Wilson wins against Thomas More in the first match. They'll be going up against Cumberland for the regular season championship. Again, that's Friday night. The conference championship is in Bowling Green on Friday the 17th with the JV or the Futures event on the 18th of February. So those championships coming up very soon as well. Men's basketball, 8-14 on the season. They picked up an overtime win over Wilberforce on Saturday. They're on the road Saturday afternoon at Campbellsville in a women's-men's doubleheader. Women 10-13 on the year. They also beat Wilberforce on Saturday, 77-61. They'll take on number 4 ranked Campbellsville on Saturday. Those games will be at noon Central Time, and the men's game will follow around 2 o'clock. It's been a tough season for basketball, as you can tell by the records. But, you got a chance to what they'll do is there's 3 weeks left in the season, and then they'll play in an opening round game, more likely, almost assuredly on the road for a chance to try to make it to Bowling Green, to the final site where there's 8 teams that will come there and play in that championship. That's the very last weekend of February into the first weekend of March. And then you've got bowling. They will be on the road at the conference championship on February 9th and 11th down at Southern Lanes in Bowling Green as well. And then we have the spring season sports are either underway already or getting ready to start. Tennis actually opened their season last weekend. They went up to Indianapolis in an indoor facility and took on an NCAA Division II team, the University of Indianapolis, who's always really, really good at a lot of their sports. Blue Raiders lost both those matches, and they are at the ITA Indoor Nationals this weekend out in near Kansas City, Overland Park, Kansas. You've got softball starting February 10th and 11th in Louisiana, and baseball actually starts this weekend, guys. Believe it or not, Lindsey Wilson baseball on the road. They're in East Tennessee as well, down at Milligan College. They'll take on Rio Grande on Friday at 2 o'clock. Milligan College, on Saturday against Rio Grande at 2 o'clock. Milligan College on Saturday at 5 o'clock, and then they'll play Sunday against IU South Bend. So that is the sports that are going on right now. I do want to say today is National Signing Day for college football. It's the second signing day. I don't like the fact that college football has 2 signing days, but this is the one that we and the NAI kind of identify with for the most part. When I talked to Coach Kleckler this morning, actually it was probably a little after lunch when I talked to him, Lindsey Wilson had 44 LOIs in letters of intent in the House. They were expecting 6 more who had already committed, so 50 new Blue Raiders is what we're expecting. There probably will be a few more that will trickle in throughout the rest of the spring and maybe even over the summer, but another good class. Coach Kleckler is really excited about it. We'll have really a lot of people back from last year's team that went to the playoffs as well, and so just keep rolling with Lindsey Wilson football. So lots going on the Hill. If you log on to LindseyAthletics.com, I don't think it's out yet. I haven't checked. I will look here in just a few minutes. But the signing date story should be going up on the website soon. You can see, all the people who have signed, and there may even be a link to watch some videos of these future Blue Raiders as well.
It's not up yet. I just checked it right now, so.
Okay, good. I didn't think it would be. They usually wait till a little after 6 before they put that up. So they want to make sure they get in every LOI that they can get in before they go live. Because once you go live and everybody starts looking at it, you don't want to have to add a kid because that will kind of shorten them just a little bit. So just check back a little bit later at lindsayathletics.com for that story, plus any stories that you might want to read up on about Lindsey Wilson Athletics. That's going to do our Lindsey Wilson segment. We're going to step away for a minute. We're going to come back. We'll talk a little UK basketball. Of course, the Super Bowl is set. And you just never know what else we're going to talk about. We'll be back in a minute. This is the J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local.
WAIN regularly conducts contests and giveaways on air. Please be advised of the following rules. No purchase necessary. Contests are open to all persons except Fort Broadcasting and their affiliated radio stations, Fork employees and their immediate families. Event sponsors, prize providers, or advertisers and their respective immediate families are not eligible to win. Participants can only win one contest prize per person every 30 days. For prizes valued at over $150, only one prize per household every 90 days. Winners must appear in person with proper positive legal identification. Claim any prize Monday through Friday, excluding holidays, within 30 days, so the prize will be forfeited. Prizes will not be mailed or delivered. Any winner under the age of 18 must be accompanied by a parent or legal guardian. No trade or cash equivalent will be awarded for any contest prize. Any person or persons found to be in violation of these contest rules before, during, or after the respective contest or giveaway will be disqualified and will not be eligible for future contests and giveaways.
Let J&S Auto Sales show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Columbia. They believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Shop their virtual showroom of used cars, trucks, and SUVs online at jnsautosales.ky.org. J&S Auto Sales, here to help you find that perfect car you deserve, priced to fit your budget.
Have you injured yourself playing a sport or exercising? Sports medicine experts at TJ Regional Health are trained to get you back on the road to recovery, whether you're dealing with sprains, fractures, knee and shoulder injuries, or other common injuries. Our goal is to prevent illness and injury in active individuals of all ages and help prevent future problems to maximize your performance. Find out more at tjregionalhealth.org/rehab. Patients first. Team always. TJ Rehabilitation Services.
Hi, this is Kylie McCovens. I'm a Greene County High School graduate and a Lindsey Wilson College student. I'm well on my way to earning my degree in Human Services and Counseling. At LWC, I've met new people, had the opportunity to become involved on campus, and I've loved being a part of campus ministry. Visit today and you will want to make Lindsey Wilson College your new home too. Call the admissions office at 270-384-8100 or email us at admissions@lindsey.edu.
This is Matt Loy with United Citizens Bank. Although I'm very proud of all the products and services we offer, the best thing we have to offer is good, old-fashioned customer service. It may seem like banking is moving to smartphones and computers, and while we can do that too, we don't think anything can replace a firm handshake and your confidence in our word. When you think personal service and customer-first banking, think UCB. United Citizens Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Kentucky. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Kentucky High School Athletic Association and the Kentucky High School Athletic Directors Association.
What
do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical Kentucky high school's budget, and they go a long way to giving young people the tools they need to thrive. High school activities, they're more than extracurricular. They're extra important, too. This message presented by the Kentucky High School Athletic Association and the Kentucky High School Athletic Directors Association.
Your financial life has never been more complicated than it is today. Between ever-changing interest rates and a fluctuating market, it may feel like you're jumping through hoops. Bank of Columbia has the experience to help you make financial decisions with peace of mind. Whether you are buying your first home or saving for retirement, we have a product for your stage of life. You want to know where your money is and who to talk to. And at Bank of Columbia, we are local people who understand your needs and dreams for the future. Call us today for competitive rates on CDs and IRAs. 270-384-6433. Bank of Columbia is an equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Back to JNS Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local. Our sponsors, Lindsey Wilson College, United Citizens Bank, TJ Regional Health, our title sponsor, JNS Auto Sales. Well, the Cats picked up a 75-66 win last night over Ole Miss in a game that had about 12 people in the arena because of the ice storm. There was more than that, but just listening to the broadcast on ESPN, it just sounded like a dead atmosphere. And when it first came on, they were spanning around, and I thought, man, there is no one there. And then later on, they said that about the ice storm and that they weren't allowing their band in there, or the cheerleaders. And I got to think, and this is just me, and I know University of Mississippi isn't hurting for money, but I got to think that was a pretty big gate that they lost because of the weather. So I'm sure they didn't like that very much. But you came with a big second half wins at 75-66. They were playing without Cason Wallace, and guys, to me, Cason Wallace is the most. I mean, I know Sheboy's big, and I know Toppin's big, and I know Reeves had a massive game, but I will say this for the rest of the year, I think Cason Wallace is the key to this team, and they didn't have him last night, and I think they struggled because of it.
Oh yeah, I thought they played ugly. It was one of those games where you advance and move on.
Yeah. Take the win and come home.
Win and go home. They couldn't get any flow. Of course, Ole Miss, they had some athleticism. They really struggled shooting, and Kermit's in trouble down there. His two best guards were out, hurt, and he's had a couple bad breaks. And I think Kermit's a really good coach, but when you don't have the kids, you don't have them. And is my boy Frederick ever going to make a shot? I don't know.
He didn't like to play in the second half, did he?
No, I'd like to see the numbers. I've been saying it all year. He seems to make shots against lesser opponents. When we play somebody, a little better, he struggles. Last night he couldn't get it to go, and then, as you said, Chris, Reeves comes in and has basically a career night. Carried him. Wheeler goes down, another wheel, another ankle, and it hobbled him. I thought he gutted it out. Toppin had flashes that of good play. So just move on. I just didn't think they beat a very good team last night. Just my opinion, but it was on the road.
I'll agree. It's a win. You lose that one, and you might as well forget about the NCAA tournament, because that'll be 4 or 2 quad 4 losses, and they done what they had to do to win, and it was just like I said, there wasn't no flow to it. It was ugly. I was trying not to fall asleep during it because it was getting late, and I'm becoming an old man, I think, because I just really don't like those 8 p.m. Central Time Tuesday night games. I couldn't imagine if we lived on Easter time and it was 9 o'clock. There ain't no way I'd make it.
Chris, they're saying, even the commentators were saying at shoot around, Frederick's lights out. Some of them were saying that they were making excuses with the thumb, the injury, but the guy was quick to correct the guy. And he said, no, I saw him shoot around. He's lights out. I don't know. It might be a little bit of a mental thing, but he's
like
had some struggles. And they need to get him going because they're doubling Sheboy in there, and Oscar's making the right read. You know, he's kicking it out of there to the offside, and you gotta knock that down.
Here's my thought on Frederick, and I could be 100% wrong. I probably am because I'm not there in practice, and I don't see it. If he's knocking them down in practice, you know, he's probably not coming off screens and shooting. And, you know, my guess is I just wonder if he's more of a standstill shooter than he is the pick and pop type of shooter that Cal's got him basically doing right now. And you throw somebody out there, you know, he's not, I mean, he's got decent size. He's not massive by any stretch, but you throw somebody out there that's guarding at 6'3", 6'4", and a wingspan of, you know, 7 foot, it's hard for him to shoot over it. So I just wonder if he's just not a good shooter coming off those screens. I don't know the answer to that.
I have to agree with that.
Could very well be.
Creating his own shot off the dribble. I see what you're saying. Versus a Reeves, who's very creative. He's very creative at scoring.
Yeah, Reeves with 27 last night. Toppin had a good night scoring 18 points. He passed up some shots that I was sitting there going, why are you passing? I mean,
I noticed that too.
Good at that 12-footer, and instead he's backing people down, and that's just not his game. I was a little surprised that he was doing what he was doing last night. Anyway, with 14 and 11. I agree with Scott 100%. It's a game that you had to have. It doesn't matter if it's a 1-point win or a 9-point win or whatever. You lose that game, and I think the season, you can almost wrap it up unless you win the SEC tournament. This way, you know, it keeps the momentum. I'm going to go back to the game with Kansas in the first half when UK couldn't make free throws. And I've meant to do this the last 3 or 4 shows, and I just haven't had a chance to do it, but I'm going to do it eventually. I wonder what UK's free throw shooting percentage is in games that they've lost versus games that they won. They shot free throws pretty good last night, outside of just the opening minutes. But I really believe that, you know, if UK shoots 70% from the free throw line as a team, then they're in a real good position to win a lot of basketball games. You think back to some of the games that they lost earlier in the year. The Michigan State, they couldn't make a free throw. I'm losing. I can't remember some of the other losses. I know against South Carolina they struggled from the free throw line.
They missed several at Gonzaga too.
That's just one of the things that during this win streak that they have, minus the Kansas loss, they've been shooting pretty good percentage from the free throw line. And when you get 3 points, you got to take it, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I agree 100% with what you just said. It would be interesting to see those numbers, but like you said, the Michigan State game, I remember that one. End of regulation, end of overtime, both should have had it won. The South Carolina game, the Gonzaga game, they missed several free throws. So that's 3.
Gonzaga game, they certainly missed. And they put themselves in a massive hole because of. I mean, they're going to get to the free throw. They're going to foul Sheboy a ton. And the way that Reeves goes to the basket, he's going to get fouled. The way Wheeler goes to the basket, he's going to get fouled a lot. I mean, they're just. Wallace is another guy that can attack the basket. They're going to make it to get to the free throw line, and they just have struggled making free throws during that losing streak. And I'm going to put those numbers. I'm going to put a reminder on my phone before next week's show to look that up. I just think it's a key number for this Kentucky basketball team.
Yeah, well, guys, what about Alabama? What they did to Vanderbilt last night?
What did it end up being? I thought it was like 40-something at one point.
100 and something to 40-something.
Oh, good day.
Was that predictable or what?
And I don't know, Chris. I'm flipping gears here, and I apologize, but I think Louisville has an opportunity. I got to throw a shout out to Big A here. Yeah. I think they got an opportunity for a win tonight. I think I'm looking at their schedule.
If they don't win tonight or Saturday, they may not win another game. I'll be completely honest with you.
Georgia Tech tonight. I was peeking today. The lines, Georgia Tech still favored 2.5, but I think it's a really good opportunity for Kenny to get a win tonight in the league, and I hope he does.
I think it's their last opportunity. I think Scott mentioned tonight or Saturday. I think this is it. I think they've got to win tonight. Or they're gonna go,
Florida State, they got to.
Against an ACC conference that is okay, but I mean, it's not the old ACC by any stretch of the imagination.
They were. I noticed last night on ESPN they were really pushing the Duke North Carolina game, and honestly, that game means hardly anything this year. To them teams and them fans, it means a lot. Don't get me wrong, but nationally, that's not really a marquee game, honestly.
No. How about the Kansas State game being on ESPN Plus last night? How did that happen?
That's where you scheduled like a preseason.
A friend of mine, he says that game's not on TV. I was like, what? He says it's not on TV, and so
to me, that's where they got to, especially starting in late January, February. The conferences have got to get together and basically make like I think the NFL does it to where they just you got spots, TV spots you don't have, and you just fill them with with whatever game means the most. Then
I'm gonna give y'all a couple sleepers that I've been watching a little ball lately. Oh shoot! I went brain dead. Creighton, Marquette. Marquette's really good. Have y'all seen Marquette? They got a really good point guard. Xavier's really good. Fremantle's out.
Yeah, they got
to have Fremantle, but they got that big Nungy too.
The Big East is good this year.
There's a couple teams, and Creighton's awful good. Those are three teams right there that could win a game. And I tell you, another team can win a game in the tournament. It's Kent State. Have y'all seen them play? They got a guard that's just incredible, and they're big and athletic. They can win a game in the tournament. Just throwing that out there.
Remember that on Selection Sunday when you fill your bracket out.
Winning tournament. I think this is about as you're going to have some teams blow some teams out like Alabama did Vandy, but there's going to be some teams that will sneak up on some of the giants, some of the Power 5 teams this year, and I think a lot of it has to do with the portal. I just really do.
Yeah. And I know Purdue is obviously the number one team in the nation right now, but I'm still not a believer. I don't know how good the Big Ten is. I mean, to me, the Big Ten always gets the benefit of the doubt. They say they beat up on each other. Well, at some point in time, they've got to do something in the NCAA tournament. They have not won an NCAA tournament since Michigan State did in, 2000, 2001?
Here's my thing on Purdue. I've watched them several times. They don't have their guards aren't 4 stars, but I tell you what they are. They're basketball players.
Yeah.
They're smart. They're crafty.
I'm not sure how they would take the same thing Chris was talking about Frederick and some of these real athletic guards. I want to see Purdue play against some athletic guards because Big Ten really don't have outstanding guard play. I mean, for the most part.
Yeah, and Indiana is I scratch my head when I look at their body of work, and they got one of the best post players in the country. So.
I'm gonna go off the board, or off the beaten path. I think as of right now, this is subject to change after I see the bracket. But I know I said before I'm not sold on Houston, but I'm not sure that Houston might not win this thing. They're good defensively, and defense travels. So,
and then they got a head scratcher last week against Temple.
Yep.
So hard to say. It's a lot of parity. I agree with you, Chris. A lot of parity.
A lot of parity. Guys, let's move over to football. We've got a Super Bowl. It's going to be Philadelphia and Kansas City, the Andy Reid Bowl, so to speak. I know there was a lot of disappointed fans, including my son, in this area. Cincinnati couldn't get it done, loses to Kansas City 23-20. John, the floor is yours.
I don't want to be. I'm going to try to be positive. I thought the Bengals had a really good run. There was just a couple, I remember vaguely a couple plays, 3rd and 3, and we're throwing bombs when we need to move the chain. Actually, it was 2nd and 3, and I'm thinking, we run the ball, move the chains. That was a big play in the game. There was a couple missed calls. There's always a couple missed calls, so let's not cry spill milk here. But
where did Mixon go? I can't believe Mixon didn't get more carries.
He really got rolling late in the year, and I really thought P. Ryan played well all year, and those two were a two-headed monster. That P. Ryan is
He's a load. When Tyler Boyd, I get frustrated with the injury. Tyler Boyd had to be in the game. He catches a couple big balls, and I don't know what happened. An injury takes him out.
And then they could double team Chase, and he never really done anything really the rest of the game.
But it could come down to you have to feel bad for the linebacker that on the late hit there, which basically cost them the game. I mean, they were out of field goal range. You're still 8 seconds on the clock, so there was still time, for Mahomes to run up something next to the sideline to try to get there. But Burrows had his number, and I'm wondering if some of the comments, Kelsey kept slamming the Cincinnati mayor.
What happened? I don't know what the story about.
And then the comments with Burrowhead, there's a couple of the Bengals at practice saying, hey, we're going to Burrowhead instead of Arrowhead, of course. And I'm wondering if some of the off-the-field antics didn't fuel the Chiefs a little bit more this time. Chris, what's your thoughts about? Of course, these are professional athletes, but sometimes you can hang those paper clippings in the locker room and fire people up.
Yeah, I think that tends to happen, and I think there was a lot of talk. I don't like it when people are talking when they're going on the road. It's just something about, especially in a playoff game. I just don't think you bring that up. If you want to talk, wait till after the game. Don't give your opponent anything to, like you said, hang up in the locker room. But I don't think anybody. I think everybody, including Kansas City fans, when it was 2 minutes to go in the game and Cincinnati had the football and they had to march 90 yards down the field, for a touchdown, or 60 yards down the field for a field goal, I don't think anybody thought that Joe Burrow wasn't going to get it done. I was a little surprised that Cincinnati didn't have a chance to win the football game. But I just go back to Mixon. I think he's a heck of a running back, and there were some of those second and third and shorts. I sure would have liked to have seen him got the ball. Despite the fact that, I'm sure a lot of people will say, Burrow's your guy. You got to keep it in his hands. But
that was a strange ending because Kansas City had no timeouts. Cincinnati had the ball, converted that long at 3rd and long down there next to the goal line. And basically, they could have played for overtime. And I understand you're being, you're in pretty good rhythm. You're trying to get in field goal range. But it was a strange turn of events. And then the punt return. It set Kansas City up at midfield. Chris, and I realize, did you see the jersey exchange between the head official and Mahomes? I mean, you can't do that out in front of the free world. I
did not see that.
I'll send you the meme. It's pretty good. It says, game recognized game.
Yeah, and then of course you've heard all the. There's an investigation. Of course, what can come of the investigation after the fact? Kind of like a horse race. But his son has made a large wager in Vegas, the referee's son, and that just can't happen. That can't get leaked. And I heard that they've already been called in on the carpet just about some of the holding calls, the redo, the down they missed, just some of the stuff that happened. They've done been called in. So. It's just really frustrating as a Bengals fan, but give the Chiefs credit. I mean, they played well. Mahomes out there on one leg basically got it done.
He did. Yep. Well, you got another week before the Super Bowl, Philadelphia, Kansas City. I felt for San Francisco because they lost their third-string quarterback who had he's going to have surgery, and actually they lost their second-string third. They never had on their fourth-string quarterback, and he gets a concussion, and man, that was just a lot to overcome against a really, really good Philadelphia Eagles team.
Yeah, we got about 30. We got about 30 seconds left. I'm kind of rooting for Hurts. With all that deal out of Alabama and how he handled himself, kind of rooting for him a little bit.
Your final thoughts on Tom Brady finally hanging him up, or at least he said he is.
How much is Fox paying him to start to commentate? That's my first question.
Yeah, $37 million a year over 10 years.
I don't blame him.
Wow.
I don't blame him. I knew it was a bunch. I didn't know the number though. That's
Yeah, it's $370 million over 10 years.
Wow.
Thanks to our sponsors, Lindsey Wilson College, United Citizens Bank, TJ Regional Health, our title sponsor, J&S Auto Sales. For Scott Bennett, John Shelley, and Austin Armstrong, I'm Chris Wells. See you next week. This has been the J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local.